Watch out. Carol, thank you very much for that. Steph, you may have noticed, has been touring the country looking at the state of our town centres, from zombies in empty shopping malls to independent retail havens and booming nighttime economies. She's back safely to report on her findings. Morning, Steph.
Yeah, morning to you both. Really busy week, but really interesting seeing all the different things that everybody's doing. Morning, everyone. Yeah, also been a really busy week for the retailers, with lots of trading figures out showing quite a mixed picture, really, of what's going on. To summarise for you, Marks and Spencer's, well, they had poor clothing sales over Christmas, whereas the likes of Next and Debenhams say they had a great one. And the big supermarkets, well, Tesco says it was the winner over the festive period, although Sainsbury's have a few things to say about that. And of course, there was also the sad news this week about the camera retailer Jessop's going into administration. So a lot of pressure out there on the retailers. And here's what I found out from my tour around some of our town centres. Good morning. All this week I'm out looking at the future for Britain's high streets. I'm starting here in Bedminster, come to Totnes, Bournemouth, Reading. This high street, like many across the UK, has had a rubbish couple of years.
I'm afraid the high street is headed in one direction, and that is that its days are numbered.
So is it all over? Well, there's certainly more pressure on the high street, and one idea is to have more independent shops. At the moment, just under 70% are, but when I visited Totnes, which is thriving, it was much higher than this. Others say it's about looking at a 24/7 operation and capitalising on the multi-billion-pound nighttime economy. And when all that fails, well, some are using the 46,000 empty shops for arts and entertainment. Well, with me now to look at these issues is the retail expert, Clare Rayner. Good morning, Clare. Tell us what your thoughts are and what I've seen all week and the different ideas that are going on out there.
Well, there's been some fascinating stuff coming out over the week. I've been watching it. And certainly the rise of the independent retailers is increasing, because only about a couple of years ago it was less than 66%, so that's an interesting thing. I think that's because a lot of the major multiples and the high street chains that we've seen either fall into administration or reduce their store numbers have left holes in the high street that have been quite an opportunity for the smaller businesses to open up, and that's bringing new diversity and creativity. I think the points about the nighttime economy are really valid. Certainly shop opening hours as well are a big thing, because when we're all at work, of course, the shops are open. When we come home, they're closed, and that does mean we turn to the internet. So there's quite a few interesting stories coming out there, particularly the creative use of space to make our towns more interesting and exciting, and full of zombies, it seems.
Yeah, I don't think they're the answer for everyone. A lot of people who've been in touch with us during this week, viewers in particular, saying parking charges and business rates are the big issue for them. Some of them, you know, small shop owners who just really suffer because of the business rates.
Oh, well, business rates are a huge issue for a lot of shop owners. And whilst the government have done quite a lot to sort of increase small business rates relief, because retail premises are in high streets, they're considered prime locations. And so that means that many of them, even the very smallest, don't qualify for any kind of small business rates relief at all, because the rates they pay are already quite high. And compared to what perhaps out-of-town retailers or online-only retailers with distribution centres pay, there can be an order of magnitude of difference. So it makes it very uncompetitive to be in the high street, and it is a barrier.
Yeah, interesting as well. You mentioned about the small shop rate relief, because the government, who've been watching our reports all week, told us that they're backing the nation's high streets with a multi-million-pound package of support, including a doubling, as you say, of rate relief for small shops. Do you think there's more that can be done?
Well, yeah, and obviously multi-million package of support sounds like a lot, but when divided over all the hundreds of towns in the UK with a number of the issues they've got to face, then it's a tiny amount of money by town. The rates relief it's a nice gesture, but it's barely affecting any of the retailers, certainly the ones I know, the independents who are struggling to stay in there. And over 16%, according to research from BIRA, who I know were on earlier in the week, 16% fear closure this year because of things like the business rates.
OK, thanks, Clare. Well, Clare's going to be here with us throughout the morning, so if you do have any questions or any comments to make on this, do get in touch with us. Via the usual methods, you can get in touch with email, bbcbreakfast@bbc.co.uk, or our Facebook, or my Twitter @StephBreakfast. And we'll be back in an hour with more.
Good stuff, Steph. Thanks very much. See you later.